And we are back. The Zander Insurance Countdown to Friday. I'm Brad Hopkins. That's Maurice Patton. And in studio, former Vanderbilt Commodore standout. And that's where we're going to keep it. Because there's so many other things that this guy did, but it'd just be kind of silly to name them all. Tony Kemp is actually in studio. He's back from a long season down there in Houston. Thank you for joining us, Tony. Really
thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
I think, there's a lot of things you could mention, but I think the one that I want to mention is 2013 SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a nice award to win, but couldn't do it without my teammates,
No, that's right. So before the show started, I made a mistake and asked Tony if he'd ever been to an SEC championship game. Yeah, that's exactly what he did when I said that.
Man.
I said, "You ever been to an SEC championship game?" And he kind of giggled, and he told me that he's been to 3. Unfortunately, hadn't won one, but yet and still, you were there knocking on those doors. Did you always feel that just being a part of a Vanderbilt program like that you were going to be guys that did stuff like that, playing for championships?
Yeah, it was good. Every year felt like I could taste it. And, we just couldn't get it done right there. But, we were able to win it my freshman, junior year outright. Just when we went to, Alabama and played, we just couldn't get that championship win.
It's a tough place to play.
It really is.
Really, it is tough. It is tough. Good competitive nature everywhere.
Obviously, before you got to Vanderbilt, you played at Centennial, and we love multi-sport guys around here. And I remember a conversation with you going into your senior year where it's like, okay, you've committed to Vanderbilt, so are you going to play football or what?
Yeah.
And you kind of struggled with whether or not you were going to play, and then you finally decided to get out there. I think you came out maybe 2 games into the season.
Yeah, it was tough because you go into Vanderbilt, you don't want to get hurt, but then again, guys like Tim Harris, Taylor Grills, guys who I'd played with for 10 years since the Franklin Cowboy days, it was tough to I felt like I was just abandoning them, right? And I remember going a couple summer, workouts and things like that before the season started my senior year. And I remember a week left in the summer. The game was, the next Friday, and I came back, and the coaches were like, "All right, we're gonna put you on second, third string at first." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I was running against the first strings and stuff, and 2 days later they're like, "All right, you go to first team." So I was like, okay. But it was fun. It was good.
Was there any pull in any certain direction from, like, say, the coaches, or maybe even like pressure from the fans that want to see you do stuff?
Right.
Was there anybody pushing you in any one certain direction?
Well, I played 3 going into high school: basketball, baseball, and football.
Man.
And had a blast doing it all. And our basketball coach wanted me to come to all the summer workouts, but I was playing double headers.
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, well, you're gonna have to choose basketball or baseball." And I was like, "Well, I'm 5'6". Like, what am I gonna do, right?" So I was like, "Okay." But I had a blast. I went, painted up. I went to all the basketball games. I was right in the front of the student section. But I almost wish I could have kept playing sophomore, junior, and senior. But it was okay.
You got a J?
Yeah, I shoot it a little bit.
All right.
A little bit. I'm not gonna toot my horn a little bit, but yeah, I'm all right.
So where is that basketball coach now?
Yeah, I don't.
no kidding.
I don't know. I'm not gonna name names or anything, but he's doing well. He's a great guy. I think that he just wanted more out of me, and I just had baseball.
But you know what, though? You can see the pressure that sometimes is applied to an athlete, particularly one that plays multiple sports, by 3 different directions. In your case, where you got a football, basketball, and baseball coach all telling you they need you to be a part of their program.
Exactly. It was almost a blessing in disguise, because once football ended, it was like that breather going into baseball, right? So I had, November, December, January, all that time to get ready for the season. So I guess you could say it was a blessing in disguise.
When did you know you were going to be a baseball guy?
I think, around my sophomore year of high school, I think I knew I had a little shot. I think I was just really fortunate just to get a scholarship. I only got 2 scholarships, East Carolina and Vanderbilt. Those were my only 2 scholarships, but very fortunate to, just be able to make the most out of that opportunity.
Your brother Corey played at East Carolina, so
yeah, that was a tough conversation. That was a tough conversation. The whole recruiting process, many people don't understand that. You want to please everybody. You want everyone happy, but it's you who's going through that process, right? So I remember the coach coming. We played Franklin High School my junior year. Coach comes in from East Carolina, goes to the football game. We end up losing, but offered a scholarship right there on my table. Boom, and I didn't know what to do. I wasn't ready, whatever. So I ended up committing. A couple months later, that kind of felt some pressure. They're like, well, we got different guys coming to camps and different things. I was like, all right, well, I'll commit. So I committed, and I kept going on visits to Vanderbilt because I wasn't really sure. And then Coach Corbin said he didn't want to lose me, so kind of just made that switch. And I called the coach and said, I'm sorry about my commitment. I'm really big on my word, and I'm still waiting on that call back. So
I know that. I bet you are.
Yeah,
You left him a message?
Yeah, I left him a voicemail, so I'm still waiting on that call back.
Did you know what that meant when basically Tim Corbin extends an opportunity for you to further your education at Vanderbilt in the program that he put? Did you understand when he was offering you that exactly what that meant?
Yeah, this might sound fun. I thought Vanderbilt was in Kentucky when I was growing up. I didn't even know that it was down the street. I was so oblivious to the fact that it was literally down the street from me. And so, back then you could email, right? You could email Corbin, so we would email back and forth, and he tried to recruit my brother. My brother literally signed to East Carolina, or I think it was Tennessee Tech, and then the next day, Vanderbilt offered him.
Oh.
And I remember, I wish I still had these emails, but it was like the old email. I remember Coach Corbin saying, I lost Corey, I don't want to lose you. So that was, I kind of like trickle down effect, I guess you could say.
That's awesome. Now, you talk about Tim, and you talk about the struggle, the decision that you had about playing football or not. Tim loves dual sports guys as well. Did you have a conversation with him at any point about whether or not to play football?
I did, and I remember because I told my teacher in sixth period that I needed to go outside and talk to Coach Corbin. And she was really nice and let me. So went outside, talked to him, and he wanted me to play. He didn't want me to sit out because he was like, I don't want you to look back on this and regret and say, man, what if I would have went my senior year and played football? So he, building things up right there. So, I didn't want to live with regret. So I was like, I'll play.
So who was that teacher?
I don't know. I had to leave. I had to leave the class. I can't. You can't give away all the teachers' names.
Well, but I know that there are a couple of teachers out there that absolutely adore you. So I could figure I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
but we'll just leave it
she
at that.
knows. She knows who she is.
Okay.
So I've been kind of following the baseball recruiting process now that my youngest son is playing baseball collegiately.
Oh, nice.
It's completely different than my oldest son that's playing collegiate football. Just the whole process. It's like there are developmental leagues, there are farm systems, there are all kinds of other things that you guys have to go through. The minors getting called up. I mean,
it's
you
completely
just don't
different.
leave Vanderbilt and all of a sudden step onto a pro field.
Yeah.
What was that process like?
Well, it's funny because when you get drafted, people are like, "Oh, you'll be on the Astros." Nah, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. Yeah. So you have so many levels that you have to go through. You go football, it's college, right to the money, right to the NFL, right? Essentially,
Right.
correct.
True.
I mean, in baseball, it's different. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get a signing bonus, that's good. You move right through the minor leagues. But say you're a senior sign, the organizations have the leverage. So that's why most seniors get $1,000 and. Do you want to play or do you not want to play?
Right.
So, right when I got drafted, I went to short season, and that's only half of the season. So did that, and then moved my way up to low A, high A, double A, triple A, and that's kind of how it goes. And we had some good teams. I think I have like 3 championship rings. So
Nice.
Say that about the Astros organization. I mean, we're pretty well off.
So with that said, we solicited some questions on Twitter, and one of the questions that we got back was, will the Astros be in position to make it to the 2017 World Series? And you talk about some of the talent that system has amassed, and a lot of it started to come up this year, including you. But what do you think about this team for 2017?
I think it's going to be an unbelievable run next year. People say, what did the Astros need? I really don't think that we need much. Right? I mean, Keuchel was hurt most of the end of this year, and imagine if that guy was healthy all year and the things that he could done, coming off a Cy Young performance. I mean, and not to mention he's a great teammate, great guy, by the way. But we just came up short. We were right there. We could taste it. One game back after sweeping Oakland. We were coming back facing the Angels. We were right there. Just, the ball didn't go our way that series. And that's really how baseball can be. Sometimes you can do everything right and still fail. So it was one of those unfortunate things. Cleaning out your locker is not really the best thing at the end of the year. But I think everybody was in high spirits and high hopes and ready to go into spring training for next year.
You talk about beating the A's, and obviously Sonny Gray's on that team.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're playing against former teammates, and there are a lot of y'all to play against?
Right. So I remember getting a start in Houston, and AJ came up to me and said, "Hey, you're getting a start against Sonny today." And I started,
Oh, wow.
and right there, it's I kind of smiled because you know, we did the black and gold scrimmages, and I was a freshman, and Sonny was a junior. You know, Sonny, big, gonna be a first-round pick, whatever. And we got crushed. We got swept by the gold team. We were black. We had to run like 800 miles. And but luckily I had like 2 hits off Sonny.
Oh.
So I mean, like that, like right when he told me, I was like, oh man, I had some confidence going into it. The first inning, I got a hit off him up the middle. Second baseman Lowry tried to backhand it, and he missed it, got the hit. And I got on first, and he kind of smiled at me. So it's that competitive nature. And then I get back to the locker room in the game. We end up winning, and there was like a little bottle or something, and he was like, "Hey, congrats on the hit!"
Nice.
Hashtag Vandy boys. So that was
guy.
cool. That was cool. So it's cool to go out there and compete against guys who came to Vandy.
So he's not a sore loser.
He's not a sore loser. He's a good guy.
2 dingers off of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, something else, Mo, that Tony Kemp and I have in common? We both started our pro careers in Houston.
Really? Yeah, that's
getting
right.
the call up.
Oilers?
Yeah.
That's right.
And when we come back, we're going to talk with Tony Kemp about getting the call. You know what I'm saying? And when they get find out what that was like right here on the Xander Insurance Countdown to Friday. Don't you go nowhere. We'll be right back for our final segment.